The following is a Learfield presentation of the Washington State Sports Network. This is the Cougar Basketball Hour on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield. Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Tonight's show is also brought to you by Zappos, where the Palouse comes to play and eat. Now, live from Zappos, here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
Welcome into Zappos. It is the Cougar Basketball Hour. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. It feels like winter. Finally, here on the Palouse, it is February, and we got snow outside, and that is a sure sign that we are more than in the middle of basketball season. And joined right now by the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley. Coach, as always, it's great to see you. How you doing tonight?
Doing good. We had a good practice, and thought we got better today, and we're moving on to this week.
Well, sounds good there, and not only do we get a chance to visit with you, but we've got assistant coach Blake Fernandez and Cedric Cower joining us tonight, so looking forward to chatting with both of them coming up. But before we talk about last week and we preview this week, well, there is that game on Saturday against Pepperdine, and we have a free ticket alert for this Saturday's game. So if you drive a Toyota vehicle, make sure to stop by the Toyota tent at the main entrance of Beasley Coliseum this Saturday. That's February 8th between 1 and 3. Just show your Toyota key and claim 2 free tickets to the game. Doesn't get much easier than that. Don't miss this awesome opportunity courtesy of Toyota. And that is coming up Saturday when the Cougs host Pepperdine. That is a 3 o'clock tip. So you got that 2-hour window. Show your key and get a pair of free tickets to the game. Well, taking a look back on what has happened for the program since we most recently chatted. It was a road trip heading down to California, Pacific first, and then to the University of San Francisco after that. Starting on Thursday against Pacific, second meeting with the Tigers. They won by an eye last year in Pullman in the first matchup. They ended up coming away with another tight victory over the Cougs. That one Thursday night, 70-68. How do you look back on that game?
It was another tight game that we weren't able to pull out, and I think when you kind of look at our conference season so far this year, those 2 games for Pacific are really kind of hurting us, where they're games that we should have been up a little bit more down the stretch, and Pacific hit some really tough shots in both those games. Like when the game at Pacific last week, they were, I think they hit 7 of the last 9, and you go look at the freeze frame right when their ball's about to leave their hand. I think we're sleeping at night with most of those shots. But we got to be able to weather the storm early in the game and not put ourselves in that position. And I think it just shows how fragile this thing is and how important the details are. And that's kind of the lesson that we took from that is we got to shore some details up and get better.
That game was so close throughout, 11 ties and 10 lead changes. But one thing that definitely stands out as a bright spot is the return of Isaiah Watts. What was it like? I know he was chomping at the bit to be able to let him loose and to get him back out on the court after he missed 10 straight with that hand injury. Yeah,
no, his energy on the floor is great to have. Like he's our best defender, especially on the perimeter. What he's able to do and slow down guys is great, and it just takes a little bit of time. I think there's some mix-ups on the defensive end, and him just trying to find some rhythm offensively, and that's going to take a couple games, and you can start to see it in flashes, and I think he really has had half of a practice going into those games where he was cleared, and so I think it'll be really, really nice to have his leadership, his defensive ability, and his offensive ability coming in down the stretch for us.
How's it for you? You get to look down at the end of the bench now, and you've got some healthy bodies, because for so much during this season there were 8 guys that you had to lean on. Reeve Avers has been back 2 weeks. Isaiah Watts now back for a full week. I imagine that's a better feeling when you can peek down the bench and see guys who are ready to rip off their warm-ups and go in at a moment's notice.
No doubt about it. And honestly, today was the first day where we really felt it. We haven't been able to practice for about the last month and a half. And I think, I think there's a lot of college basketball programs that are well coached, that do a lot of teaching through walkthroughs and film. And I've had to learn a lot and tried to learn how to do that a little bit more. But the only way I know how to coach is to compete and practice and really get the guys out there, and we haven't been able to do that for the last month and a half, and I think that set us back in some ways. So just having the energy out there today where guys were getting after it and competing and really making it game, like I thought was eye-opening for me, that that's really set us back, just not being able to do that.
That takes us to Saturday. The trip continue. The Cougs taking on San Francisco. It was a strong start in that game for Washington State, but there was just that lull between the end of the first half that carried over to the second half, proved to be too much to overcome. It was a 75-51 loss. What ended up making that one a harder night for the team?
We ran out of steam at one point. Now I think USF did a great job of upping the physicality, and they turned us over a lot down that in their big run. But we had some guys really sick. I think about half our team was going through it that game, and I think that was a part of the issue. And then we got to be mentally tougher to be able to weather that storm. And they came in and made some really physical plays and knocked us down a little bit, and we responded with, probably not the smartest way to respond, and I think that's kind of something that we got to learn from as well.
How is that? Because it was evident. You told us after the game that Nate Calmes was certainly under the weather, not feeling great, and that's not news. You're not trying to grab a megaphone and tell everyone before a game that you have guys who aren't feeling great, but I know that is maybe not completely with your hands tied behind your back, but it is not great having guys who aren't feeling that well going into a game.
I mean, it's part of the deal. You said it's there's snow outside. It must feel like basketball season. Well, people are sick. It's basketball season. It's just part of the deal, and we got to be able to fight through it. And there's a lot of good examples of guys doing that, like the Michael Jordan flu game, and these guys being able to tough it out. And I thought it was good to see Nate be able to have that production, and some of these other guys. We had three or four other guys that were really going through it, and I just think that it's an opportunity for us to learn. And there's a lot of teams when you look down the country, like. Maybe it's January, maybe it's December, maybe it's early February that they go through these lulls, and it's a long season, and we got to be able to take our lumps and bounce back and finish this conference the right way, because there's still a ton to play for.
You mentioned Michael Jordan. It was interesting after that game. You go to the University of San Francisco, and there's a lot of tradition and history, and they've had this really strong run of recent success. But you go back, Bill Russell, Casey Jones, some of these outstanding names, and then Bill Cartwright was one, and he's up there in the rafters. And then Craig Elo pointed it out. He was like, "Hey, there's Bill Cartwright over there," and Bill Cartwright, had played. I believe it was 16 years in the NBA, so it's one of those things you never know who you're going to see on any given game, any spot you go to.
No, I think that's really cool to have some of these, big time players that come to our games and the history there. I mean, some of our coaches, like Pedro was at, we were going down to the gym his first time down to USF, and he's like, this gym's a little weird, like not nothing too crazy compared to what the things we've seen in the WCC and across the country. And me and Jerry, being from the area, were like, no, there's a ton of history here. They won national championships, and those guys played in this gym. And I remember growing up and kind of hearing all the history of the USF teams, and it's one of the things that makes this game so special is the tradition.
Again, we're talking with the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley, here on the Cougar Basketball Hour. Still to come on tonight's show, we'll have Cedric Coward here. Assistant coach Blake Fernandez will stop by as well. We'll take a timeout. More after this. We're live from Zeppo's. It is the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill, because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Hey, Coug fans! Can't decide what to do with your late-night weekends? Why not Cosmic Bowling? Every Friday and Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. is Cosmic Bowling at Zeppo's. At a price designed with everyone in mind, we are your destination for music, disco lights, and of course, bowling. Can't join us on the weekends? Zeppo's is the place to be for all ages every day of the week. With bowling, food, and drink specials, we offer prices that won't break the budget. You can even reserve your lane in advance with online reservations at Zeppos.com. When looking for fun in Pullman, look no further than Zeppo's.
You're listening to Cougar Basketball on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
You know what I could really go for right now? Literally anything that comes in a McDonald's carton, wrapper, or bag. Or a McDonald's cup. Yes, any of those items should do it.
Or Cougar fans, why not get them all? Order with the app and get a bacon double cheeseburger, 4-piece chicken McNuggets, small fries, and soft drink for only $7. Offer valid exclusively in the McDonald's app. Must opt into rewards at participating restaurants.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
The next time you visit Northern Quest, we suggest bringing your sea legs and your lead foot. It's the $100,000 Ben's Voyage giveaway. Play daily with your Camus Rewards card, and you could win a cruise line adventure. Or a brand new Mercedes GLC 300 with an inline-4 turbo. Tax and licensing included. Speeding tickets are on you, though. The Ben's Voyage giveaway. Grand prize drawing March 31st. Details at northernquest.com.
This is the U.S. Bank Cougar Coaches Show on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Up and under, off the glass, had to get the little spin on it, and he banks it in. 90 points for the Cougs. They're back up by 17.
Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Once again, here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
Welcome back to Zeppos on the Cougar Basketball Hour. Here with the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley. Again, still to come tonight. Excited to talk with our guests as we continue to get to know members of the coaching staff. We'll have assistant coach Blake Fernandez here, and then also Cedric Coward will be joining us as well. And Coach, before we get into our guests and kind of have you set the stage for them, I know the Cougar Collective right now is running a match campaign specifically for the program. How grateful are you for the contributions that are coming in and the work that is being done by all those involved with that?
Man, it's a lot of work, and it's something that's pretty new to me coming to Washington State. I guess it's new to everybody, new to college basketball. But to see all the hard work that the collective puts in and the alumni, and it's definitely necessary. Like, you go look at all these teams in the WCC, they're operating above $1 million with their budgets, and that's something that we're hoping to get to at some point. But I just think there's just so much support and so many people that care about this program, and those people at the Cougar Collective have really helped organize all that and push us in the direction that we want to go.
Yeah, I know there's nothing but appreciation for all the hard work that is being done there. And when it comes to, we'll start with Blake Fernandez. What does he bring to the program? I know a Washington native, so he has those ties that come with it. What does he bring to the program and everything that he means to the team?
You know, I think he kind of embodies the grinder mentality that we want to have as our approach. Like, he's a guy that played Division II basketball, had to work his way up from the very bottom, came to work at Eastern Washington for Shantae, actually, his first year as a grad assistant, and as well for me, and has worked his way up to an assistant where he's doing everything. He's kind of the guy that if any of the guys need anything, Blake's kind of the first call. He can point in the right direction. He's got his hands in a little bit of everything, and he's starting to recruit a little bit, and the scouting piece that he's done this year. It's really cool to see just him grow as a coach. He's another guy that, I mean, he was pre-med in college. He was almost a doctor, and decided he had a love for the game and stuck with this instead.
When someone is a grinder, and from what I've seen, I think you surround yourself with grinders, that is a trait. Do you get to see that even more when you worked with them as a GA, that you really have firsthand knowledge to how much someone will grind when you're around them in that role?
For sure, and he's someone I use as an example. And we got a big support staff here, and we ask a lot of them, and there's a lot of thankless jobs, and it's very easy for me to, I'm sure that no one likes it when it's like, back when I was a GA, I had to do this, but it's a little easier when I can just be 4 years ago when Blake was a GA, he had to do this, and it's a little more, they can relate to it a little bit more.
Cedric Coward, we're so pumped to talk with him. The only thing that tugs at the heart a little bit is the fact that he is only got to play a limited time this year before just getting some real bad luck and not being able to play because of an injury. What is it like having Cedric as a player, and then during this stretch now where it's Cedric providing that morale boost and being around the team and doing all that he can even though he can't be out on the court?
It's a unique situation. It's really, really tough for him. Is came in here with huge expectations this season and had a season-ending injury, and that'll take the wind out of a lot of guys' sails. But he was able to find ways to be very helpful to our program, and really just a great friend and teammate to his teammates. Like, he's been every step of the way. They're helping guys, talking to them, being a shoulder to lean on. And when I kind of talked about bringing over the 4 guys from Eastern from last year, the big thing that we wanted those guys to do was implement our culture. And I think he's been able to do that even on days like today where we're watching film, or yesterday when we're having it was not a fun film session yesterday that we were going through as a team. And to have his voice and experience of going through these hard times and understanding what the blueprint looks like to get to that next step, and just hearing his voice is really helpful.
Well, we'll get his side of the story, but this is someone who is preseason all WCC. Only 10 players get to earn that honor going into the year, and someone who, has a lot of years of basketball in front of him is what it seems like. He started out at Willamette, and you ended up landing him at Eastern Washington after that. How did he come on your radar? How is he? And this is no knock on Willamette, but a lot of teams would stumble over themselves to have someone like Cedric Coward on their squad. Now, how did that all happen?
Well, let's not hate on Willamette too much. There's a lot of good players came out of that league.
We love Willamette. We love Willamette, but it goes to show that it's just pretty incredible what he's been able to do over his college career.
Absolutely. I mean, the trajectory of his career is one of a kind, and worked his tail off to get to this point. And when I was my first year as a head coach, I was watching my former boss over at Portland play Willamette in an exhibition game, and Cedric Coward, I think, had 20 points on him, and we're kind of watching this skinny 4-man get a couple post moves, make a couple nice passes, hit a 3, and it was, you can see some tools there. And I think from there we followed him, and when he hit the portal, we ended up recruiting him and just kind of took it from there. And that's one of the great things about college basketball, is just to watch these guys' development. Cedric, I think it was 3-4 days ago, we were sitting in the conference room, and he sent me a picture of me, Cedric, and LaJuan from 3 years ago on their recruiting trip. And it was just eye-opening to see, obviously they still look bigger and stronger than me when we were taking that picture together, but to see how much bigger and stronger and more mature they've become, and to think of all the hard times and good times we've been through the last 3 years is just a really rewarding part about this job, and excited for his next steps as a player.
Well, that's fantastic. We're looking forward to chatting with him next. Coach, I know you got some food ordered. Go enjoy your dinner, and we'll have you back a little bit later on.
Appreciate it. Go Cougs.
Again, that's the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley, joining us here on the Cougar Basketball Hour. A reminder, Cougar Nation, each time you bring your Toyota vehicle to be serviced at a local and participating Toyota dealership, you can receive a premium Washington State giveaway item as a member of the Toyota Rewards program. To join the program, visit WSUCougars.com/Toyota Rewards. Cedric Coward joining us after this break. This is the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you. Because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
A mission that matters. A place to grow. Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories is an internationally recognized designer and manufacturer of products that protect and control electric power systems worldwide. Employees are problem solvers, inventors, and doers. At SEL, you can support a mission that truly matters and create a career that maximizes your full potential. Apply to join the growing SEL team today at selinc.com/careers.
Hey, this is Craig Elo, and you're listening to Washington State Basketball. Go Cougs!
Hampton and Pullman is just a short drive from the WSU campus. They've got you covered for all your lodging and dining needs with the addition of their on-site bar and restaurant, Crimson Bar and Bites. You will feel right at home with their spacious rooms, famous Hampton waffles, cozy outdoor patios, Cougar gift shop, and the friendliest staff in town. Visit HamptonByHilton.com to reserve a room for your next trip to the Palouse. Coug owned and Coug managed. It matters where you stay. Hampton and Pullman. Hilton for the stay.
Are you interested in your company reaching Coug fans in and out of game day?
As the multimedia rights holder for Washington State Athletics, Washington State Sports Properties helps companies and organizations connect themselves to Cougar athletics in unique and exciting ways. From LED signs to pregame parties to the radio ad you're hearing right now, Washington State Sports Properties is helping companies both large and small get in front of Coug fans on a daily basis. Reach out to Washington State Sports Properties to learn more about what sponsoring the Cougs can look like for you.
This is the U.S. Bank Cougar Coaches Show on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Behind the back dish, thrown out, Cougar is done. What a dunk that brings the fans to their feet here at Beasley.
Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Once again, here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
Back at Zeppo's on the Cougar Basketball Hour. Here we are. It is snowing outside on the Palouse. The Cougs, a pair of games this week, heading to Corvallis on Thursday, and then they got to come from Malibu. Pepperdine will be here Saturday. We'll see how much of the snow is still around at that point. Sounds like we got more coming on the way here in Pullman. And right now, we're so excited to welcome in Cedric Coward. Cedric, thanks for being here. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, and thank you for having me.
It is so great to talk to you. The only thing, and it is such a boost to have you as part of the program. I know it breaks the heart that you haven't been able to play as much after those first 6 games, but I know you are doing all that you can. Take us through. You play those 6 games. Things are going well. You get hurt. You're out the rest of the season. I know this isn't how you envision this year going. How has it been dealing with that adversity?
Yeah, I mean, for sure at the start, it was super emotional for me. It was like one of those things where the thing you love the most that you're able to do, you have so much fun doing, just gets ripped away from you. But at the same time, I have a great, teammates, coaches, and just people around me that just kept my head up, the whole time. I think one of the things that kept me, I think, sane or, down to earth was when Coach Riley admitted that he cried too. You know what I mean? It was one of those things to show how much him and then the other guys on the staff really cared. And then also with my parents, they making sure I'm always keeping my head up and making sure, one thing is I'll bounce back better than ever from this. And I know I will, so.
For you, I know there's really hard work when it comes to getting better on the court, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe the hardest work is rehab, and just that you know that you're trying to get closer, but it's it's a process. How has that part been?
Yeah, I think it's just something that you got to be really patient with. I think for me, I've been recovering well. I wish I could recover faster, get ready to play. But at the same time, I also got to, live in reality with it and know that it's going to be a slow process. But at the same time, like you said, rehab is one of the most challenging things because things I was able to do so easily before I can't anymore. And then now it's working to get that back. And I think it's just one motto I live by is God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. You know what I mean? And I think it's just a tough battle that I got to deal with, and I'm going to end up winning. So.
Well, with you, and we've got no doubt that that's going to be the case. And with you, we mentioned this with Coach Riley, but you've had a bit of a journey from out of high school. You go to Division III Willamette, you kill it there, then you get connected with Coach Riley at Eastern Washington, and now here at WSU. We'll start with the Willamette part. Yeah. Was it just that you were overlooked and under-recruited out of high school is how you ended up there?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. And it's also I probably didn't work as hard as I really needed to get the looks I wanted, at that time. So I that was my path, and, it ended up working out for me. But I also like to say, Willamette was one of the best things for me because it taught me, one, how to be away from home because I'm a homebody and, I'm around my family a lot. And it also taught me as a basketball player, how good I can be. How good I can be in terms of if I work hard, if I, just take control of the game at times and stuff like that.
Well, that potential continued to get tapped into and in a major way when you went to Eastern Washington and you got connected with David Riley and the staff. What about what he told you during the recruiting process at Eastern Washington struck a chord with you and what allowed you to thrive like you did there?
Yeah, I mean, they kept it real. That's one thing that resonated with me through the Zoom call. That was the first time I ever met Coach Riley, was through a Zoom call. They was going through plays with me. And, it wasn't just, oh, hi, how you doing? It's like, all right, Sid, I met you, you met me. Now this is what we do, and then this is our philosophy. This is our basketball philosophy. And I think their core values coincide with what my core values are, just hard work, get it out the mud, make sure you, from the ground up, and you build to be the best person you can be.
Well, and it seems like this is going to go right to my next question, but it speaks volumes, the fact that you, Dane Erickstrup, Ethan Price, Lawan Watts, following the coaching staff here, and all of you having success. Again, unfortunately for you, an injury cutting your time on the court short this year. But it sounds like all those reasons kind of went into your decision to say, hey, let's keep the band together and let's just head down to Pullman and start rolling there.
Yeah, I mean, Ethan, Juan, and Dane, they definitely helped with, my decision to come here. But at the same time, I always said, like, especially when Coach Riley got the speculation of even getting the job, I was like, wherever he's at, I'm at, because I got that much trust in him. He has that much trust in me and the rest of the staff as well. And then, like, it's one of those things where, like, I started the journey, so I want to finish it with the right person.
So for you, you're hurt right now. You're rehabbing. We heard Coach Riley mention about how you've been making an impact. In what ways are you taking the most pride in still helping the team and helping your teammates throughout the season, even though you can't be out there in uniform?
Just trying to relay the same message as if I was playing. Making sure I'm still one of the loudest voices out there. Giving guys my 2 cents, helping them when they're down or whenever they're struggling or whenever. It's just making sure, as much as I do or I did when I was on the court, I'm trying to do those same exact things off the court. I don't ever want to be the person that just because I'm not playing, I can't say anything. And, I think as a leader that speaks volumes to play or not play, you're able to still connect with the guys both positively and, through, I'm not going to say negatively, but like through trying to help them as well.
You come from a great athletic family. For those who don't know, this is a heck of a story about your grandfather. Your grandpa, Maxie Parks, won an Olympic gold medal in the 4x400 relay at the 1976 Olympics. What's it like having an Olympic gold medalist as your grandpa?
Oh, it's a huge advantage. I can say the biggest 2 things from my life is, one, he helps me with my conditioning. We run in the track in the summer, and in Fresno it's hot. So, I don't ever want to do it, but at the same time it's helped me through my college career. And then 2, just the ability to prepare for situations at the highest level. Because, where I'm trying to get to is the highest level, which is the NBA, and he's already been to the highest level, which is the Olympics. So no matter what nerves or feelings you get during that, you always got to make sure you're preparing. And from him teaching me how to prepare has been like one of the biggest advantages I've ever had.
What does he say? What hammers it home when he does pass along those lessons to you?
Yeah, really, in terms of preparing, it's more of you got to prepare days before. It's not just all right, now I'm ready to play. You can't. It's not a light switch. You just can't flip it on and off. It's one of those things where you actually have to resonate in it, feel it out, know, like, all right, and then have the mindset. Have the mindset to realize, like, you're the best out there. Have that individual mindset of, nobody can stop me, and then that will end up helping your game in the total.
We have a question here, and you have some interest off the court that we need to talk about. But this question coming in, ask Cedric about CC Customs. What's the story behind that?
Oh, CC Customs is my shoe custom, business. It's less of a business now just because basketball has gotten a lot more, hectic, and I got a lot more busy. But at the same time, I started that when I was 16, CC being my initials, and then, Customs. But I started that when I was 16 on my 16th birthday. I just watched YouTube videos of guys customizing shoes, and I thought it was pretty cool. And, from the time I was 16 to now I'm 21, I've been doing that. I have an Instagram page for it. It's CCX Customs, which is cool. And then, I think it's just one of those skills that it keeps me busy when I'm not playing basketball. And then I also love just the fact that I can have my creative side out there.
How many pairs of shoes have you customized to this point?
I can't even tell you.
Were it hundreds? Like, yeah.
I'm not gonna say hundreds, but like it's gonna take me a while to think. I'm probably in the 40 to 50 range.
That's a lot. Okay, yeah. So what is are we the scope of any sort of shoe, or are you like, hey, I want a Nike basketball shoe, or what? Do you have a wheelhouse?
No, I can do any shoe, but I think really just based off of what the person wants. You know, if a person comes to me with a Nike Air Force, all right, cool, I can do that. But if a person comes to me with a sandal, I can do that too. So I think it's just making sure you have the knowledge and capability to, you know, do anything.
What are your favorite customized touches that you put on? Like what are when you really are flexing your creative muscles, what are some of your favorites?
So for me, I like to take designs from expensive shoes and put them on less expensive shoes. Like I know one design I liked that I did a long time ago was Travis Scott has this dunk and it has like a whole bunch of different, you know, patterns and stuff on it. So I did that, and the shoe by itself, that design cost thousands of dollars, but I put it on a $100 shoe for one of my cousins. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. So you're taking care of your cousin with that one. That sounds like a pretty extensive one. I also understand you're pretty good at baking cookies. That's a hobby of yours. Is that the case?
Yeah. I mean, I don't go out much, so I think it's one of those things where besides video games and besides basketball, I like to eat. So, and, you know, I got a little bit of a sweet tooth, so I figured out how to make cookies because if I'm going to figure out how to do something, I'll make sure I do it right.
Well, you're not the only one who likes to eat and likes a sweet tooth, so you've got to be a popular guy when your cookies come around.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially Lawan. And Lawan tells me to make the cookies probably 3 times a month. You know. Okay,
what's his top requested cookie? The classic chocolate chip? Are we going beyond that? What's your most requested?
He is like Coach Riley just yelled. Red Velvet's the one right there. Everybody asks me for those, but with Lawan, it's really just what he's feeling at the moment. I think it's either or. But I love him, and you know the fact that I can do that for a team and make somebody else feel good is pretty cool.
Well, you are definitely multi-talented here, and the other thing we're going to tap into your talents. You can name every NBA MVP dating back to the 80s, and I know every NBA champion dating back to the mid-70s. Can I throw a couple your way? Let's see how we do.
Yep.
1981, 1982 MVP.
1981, 1982, I think that was Moses Malone.
It was Moses Malone. You're good. Okay. 1992, 1993.
Oh, that's MJ. But 93 was Barkley. So
that was Barkley. Yeah, no, you really do know. What year did the Sonics win it? Do you know that one?
Sonics win the championship?
Yeah.
79.
Ooh, you're really good. Okay, that's impressive. How did you just like studying the sports almanac?
I'm a sports nut, man, especially basketball and football. Like more basketball since I play it, but like I'm just a sports nut. It's just one of those things where I thought it was pretty cool. You know, I watch a lot of documentaries on like old NBA players and something for my grandpa taught me about all the old legends and stuff like that. So I think it's just one of those things I just read one day and then it just resonated with me.
That is impressive. I tried to even pick two of the tougher ones because there's a lot of MGA in there. There's a lot of Magic. There's a lot of I was trying to give you a couple like landmines to step on, but you navigated it beautifully.
There's a lot of repeats in there.
That's impressive. So what are you studying? What's keeping you busy in the classroom?
I have a degree in social sciences right now, mainly with a focus on business. And, you know, I think it kind of taps into the CC Customs thing, like creating business, knowing how to manage money, knowing how to, you know, expand upon things that you really enjoy. I think one of the biggest motivators for me was I want to be my own boss. I don't want to work under somebody, you know, unless it's the NBA, I don't mind.
That's fair, yeah.
But being my own boss and, you know, having my own business and being able to venture out is something that's really cool to me and has resonated with me since I was little. So I think that's my main focus.
Well, we've talked a lot recently about your talents off the court, but your future is very bright on the court. I know you'll be back healthy soon. I know it's hard as you sit here today. You're one day at a time. You're trying to get healthy. You're trying to do all you can to help your teammates, but there's a very bright future. As you sit here right now, what are you thinking when it comes to the future and after this season wraps up?
I really don't focus on that right now. I think the main focus I have is getting healthy, you know, being the best I can be and getting better each and every day, and then trying to help the team out as best as possible. You know, although I'm not playing, like I said earlier, it's one of those things where I still got to tap into who I am as a person, who I am as a leader, and help the guys no matter what is going on. And then also for myself, just making sure to keep that one day at a time mindset, because you got to be patient at the end of the day. If I start looking 4 or 5 months ahead, then, you know, I can get ahead of myself. Just take it one day at a time.
It's been exceptionally fun to catch up with you here. The only thing that, again, is the little bit of bummers that we only got to see you play here for 6 games this season, but I know you'll be back healthy soon, and I know the future is very bright. Cedric, thank you for the time tonight, and we'll see you and your teammates out there Thursday, and then, of course, Saturday as well. You'll be there at Beasley, and everyone will be there at Beasley to cheer on the team.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Again, that is Cedric Coward here for the Cougs, stopping by and joining us on the Cougar Basketball Hour. A reminder, the Junior Cougs Kids Club is presented by Toyota. It is the official kids club of the Washington State Cougars, and it is the best way for the youngest members of Cougar Nation to show off their Cougar pride. Find out more information about your Junior Cougs membership perks at wsucougars.com/JRCougs. We'll take a time out here from Zeppos. When we come back, we'll be joined by assistant coach Blake Fernandez, and then a little later on, we'll be rejoined by the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley. It's all after this timeout. You're tuned in to the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.
If you've been having your McDonald's sausage McMuffin with an iced coffee from somewhere else, now is a great time to reconsider.
In the Pacific Northwest, it's never too cold for an iced coffee in the morning. Grab yourself a medium caramel, French vanilla, or classic iced coffee for just $2.29. Warning, beverage may cause craving for McMuffin or hash browns. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Around here, the community is everything. At Adams Tractor, our strength is in machinery, but our passion is in building relationships. For nearly a century, Adams Tractor has been supporting local nonprofits and organizations all across the Northwest, demonstrating our commitment to the regions we serve. We're more than just your go-to Kubota dealer. We're dedicated to making life easier. Adams Tractor, where passion meets Kubota strength.
This is Cougar Basketball from Learfield.
This Washington State University sports broadcast is brought to you in part by Pullman Regional Hospital, the official hospital of Washington State Athletics. The combined expertise of our university and our award-winning hospital are being deployed to provide greater access to resources, education, employment opportunities, and innovations to improve health care and health outcomes for all of us. Learn more at pullmanregional.org. Pullman Regional Hospital and Washington State, partners in excellence.
This Cougar Moment is sponsored by Brown Family Vineyards. Brown Family honors the legacy of founder Andrew Brown's late grandfather, William Bittner Brown. Every decision made, from farm to glass, reflects their commitment to premium Northwest wine and spirits. Whether you're visiting one of Brown's tasting rooms or opening a bottle in your own home, Andrew and his wife Courtney welcome you to their extended family, where good friends, good food and wine, and good times are always on the agenda. Stop by one of our tasting rooms in Spokane, Walla Walla, Seattle, Bellevue, Tacoma, or Portland, and get 20% off a glass this season when you mention WSU.
This is the U.S. Bank Cougar Coaches Show on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Joe look, wrapper up, has two-handed throwdown dunk, making a 10-0 Cougar run.
Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Once again, here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
Back at Zeppos here on the Cougar Basketball Hour, live from Zeppos. A reminder, earn your bragging rights at Northern Quest with more slot machines, table games, restaurants, lounges, and luxury hotel rooms than anyone else in the region. Northern Quest, yes, the best. More at northernquest.com. Excited to welcome in assistant coach for the Cougar basketball team, Blake Fernandez. Blake, thanks so much for being here tonight.
Sure.
Let's just dive right into it. You're a Washington native, so you're on the coaching staff, and everyone in their first year with David Riley here on the Palouse. What's it like getting to coach in your home state?
I'm very grateful for everything. Obviously it's kind of funny. I kind of spent my whole life in Washington, right? Like I obviously grew up in Washington, played college basketball at Western Washington, started my coaching career at Eastern Washington and now at Washington State. So I've, had a very blessed road so far. So it's been awesome. I love it.
And for you in your career, played at Mount Lake Terrace, spent some time at Edmonds Community College, and then at Western Washington. So, as you said, you're kind of hitting almost all parts of the state. You know Washington like the back of your hand.
Yeah. Playing for so many different coaches, Coach Suit at Mount Lake Terrace, Kyle Gray at Edmonds, and then Tony Dominguez at Western Washington. Having those great, mentors as head coaches really, made me want to get into coaching. I think my experiences with them, were really good. And I think when I was in college, I really enjoyed my time being a college basketball player, and that's kind of what made me want to be a college coach. And so, I've loved it every step of the way.
David Riley referenced, though, being a college coach wasn't always your plan. Correct. You wanted to be a doctor. At what point did you think, okay, maybe medical school, not your route, and you got bit by the coaching bug?
Yeah, so, I was a biology grad out of Western Washington. Took a gap year, was working at a local hospital, was volunteering, getting some shadowing hours, was also studying for my MCATs, and my high school coach, Nayland Sood, who's like a second father to me, just asked me one season, like, hey, would you mind, helping out with the basketball team? I know you have a crazy schedule, just wanted to kind of see if you would be able to stop by a couple times a week. And I think it might have been after that first week of just being with the team and kind of being back in that, environment, obviously different than being a player, being a coach. I kind of just switched it up. And I actually talked to the doctor that I was shadowing and just asked him, like, if you had to do it all over again, would you chase your passion or would you kind of chase, what your goals have been your whole life? And he said, honestly, I would chase my passion. It took me a couple days to think about it, but I think that coaching bug kind of bit me, and I decided, like, hey, this is where my heart is, and it's something that I wanted to pursue.
Well, and here you are now coaching at WSU, and you've moved your way up in the coaching ranks very quickly. You get connected with David Riley, so you start as a GA at Eastern Washington. Yep. What was it like getting to know him? And there's obviously this really cohesive group of coaches who have been together, and then these 4 players who came from Eastern Washington to WSU as well.
Yeah, so, my first year at Eastern, I was actually, Shante Leggins was the head coach. Obviously, Coach Riley was a big reason why. He was the reason why I was on staff at Eastern. I think once that previous staff moved to Portland, I had a decision to make, and I think me and Dave had a great relationship that year. And I looked up to him as kind of a mentor, and I said, this is the guy I want to go to bat for. This is the guy I want to, coach next to night in and night out. And then, obviously, he's a big people person. I'm pretty charismatic at times. Sometimes I'm a little angry when I'm on the court, but I think we've kind of built this culture where we're big on relationships with our players, and I think even with those 4 guys from Eastern coming with us to Washington State kind of speaks on that culture that we built at Eastern, and kind of what we're trying to do here at Washington State, and big relationship team aspect.
And it seems like your story kind of matches the same as a lot of guys. And, we were just talking to Cedric Coward, and he was starting out at Willamette, which was great for him, but he's a guy who's got a high ceiling and a bright future in front of him. And for you, I know, it wasn't necessarily that you were at the D1 level as a player, but you were able to get this opportunity being around great people along your way up, and then you got the chance, and you've earned your way into this role.
Yeah, and one thing when I was a GA that was really big to me is I wanted to try to get my hands on as many things as possible, right? I wanted to learn, and I think that was one thing that was really unique about Eastern. I was able to learn about the academic side of things, compliance. I worked with facilities. I did a lot of housing stuff, admissions. I did the meals. I do travel stuff along with the coaching
all the stuff that the glory comes with, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so, a lot of people don't like doing those jobs, but for me, it's kind of like I like bringing value to the team, and I think, obviously I don't have a lot of experience with coaching, recruiting, things like that other coaches might have, but I think for me, my value is trying to do all the little things that a lot of people don't necessarily like doing, And so for me, that's kind of my role and kind of where I try to excel the most.
I would think for you come here to WSU, and this has been the most resources you've been around, right? Where
For sure.
I know you're still trying to, make an impact in every single way, but there's also probably a pretty good level of appreciation for there are people to help us with this, or we have this available to us. Is that the case?
Yeah, for sure. The help at Wazoo is phenomenal, right? I think the resources and everything is next level. At Eastern, I kind of felt like I had to do everything. Now we have an academic advisor in Heather Irwin, who's been amazing to work with. We have our travel agents that we work with that are amazing. A lot of moving parts, a lot of people I can communicate with, but definitely been a huge help with the amount of resources that there are.
So you are Washington native, but you didn't go here to WSU, but you're surrounded by crimson and gray. Anyone who grows up in the state of Washington knows all about WSU. What's it like now that you're here in Pullman and immersed in the Coug experience?
I love it. I think the Pullman community is super supportive of basketball. Obviously the support that we've gotten since we stepped foot in Pullman has been amazing. I have no complaints whatsoever. It's kind of shocking, seeing the difference between, when we were at Eastern the last however many years, 4 years that I was there, and just within the first, half year that we're at Wazoo, it's been phenomenal. I've been super grateful for every person that I've interacted with, and just the community atmosphere, I think, is the thing that separates Pullman from a lot of different places.
The team back in action this week, Thursday at Oregon State, Saturday against Pepperdine. Excited. It will have been 3 straight road games before the team will be back at home for that one. Saturday again, tip-off at Beasley at 3 o'clock. What has you most excited about the rest of the season? I know the team has had just a really good season overall, but it's been a little bit of a tougher stretch, grading on a curve of what has been a strong season. What has you most excited about this final push until everyone heads to Vegas for the conference tournament?
I think the thing I'm most excited about is kind of just seeing where our growth can be as a team. I mean, obviously it's a long season and we're coming to the end of it, but even now in February, there's still things that we can work on as a team that can really get us over that hump. And I think they're definitely things that are fixable things. And so just the potential still of this team that is untapped, I think is huge. Very excited for that.
Blake, thanks for being here tonight. Great to have you part of the program here, and just appreciate it, and excited for the team to be back in action this week, and, of course, that home game on Saturday.
Yep. Awesome. Go Cougs.
Again, that is Blake Fernandez joining us on the Cougar Basketball Hour, assistant coach for Washington State. Well, we'll take another break. When we come back, we'll be rejoined by the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley. We'll talk about those 2 games this week, Oregon State on the road Thursday, Pepperdine at home on Saturday. That's all after this timeout. You're listening to the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
Nothing works up an appetite like cheering for your Cougs on game day. So why not cheer them on at Northern Quest with an impressive roster of restaurants and lounges? You can tackle the menu at Epic and catch every play on the 10 by 30-foot screen. Or grab a steak at Maslow's, a fine cigar at Legends of Fire, even a burger from Fat Burger. For your inner linebacker. See more at northernquest.com. Go Cougs!
You're listening to Cougar Basketball on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Get your home turf ready to play with the game-changing performance of Steel. Enjoy big savings this fall on Steel handheld outdoor power equipment. Find yours at over 10,000 local Steel dealers. Steel is a proud supporter of your Washington State Cougars. Real Steel. Find yours.
Get game day ready at Rosars. Rosars is a proud sponsor of WSU Athletics and your headquarters for keeping snacks stocked up for game time. You'll find the largest craft beer selection, local and imported wines, and all the makings for your favorite cocktails. And while you're there, stock up on your favorite deli snacks, pizza, rotisserie chickens, and ribs. Don't just watch the game, experience it with your favorite Game Time foods. Get game day ready at Rosars.
This is the U.S. Bank Cougar Coaches Show on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Up and under, off the glass, had to get the little spin on it, and he banks it in. 90 points for the Cougs. They're back up by 17.
Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Once again, here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
Back at Zeppos on the Cougar Basketball Hour. We are rejoined once again by the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley. The team back in action this week. Thursday, heading to Corvallis. We'll start right there. The one and only regular season matchup with Oregon State. The Beavs having a really strong season. As you have started to kind of turn the page and get ready for this matchup at Gill Coliseum, what has stood out most about Oregon State?
I think they're just a really well-coached, balanced team. You go look at them top to bottom. They've got a really strong starting lineup. Their bench is strong, and they've been playing really good basketball lately. And it was kind of a throwback for me because I was a GA, and I think maybe it might have been my first 3 years at Eastern Washington. Tinkle was still in the league, and we used to coach against him, and they're doing a lot of similar stuff, and he's got those guys playing well.
Yeah, he has been, I'm trying to think, I think his last year in Montana was 2014, 2015, and he's been at Oregon State and took that one team to the Elite Eight, so has done some really impressive things there, and this is a strong Oregon State team that the Cougs will play. A later tip-off at 8 o'clock is when that game will start, so our coverage, myself and Craig Ela, will be there at Gill Coliseum. 7:30 is when our coverage will begin, and then the home game this week, it'll be nice to be back at Beasley. It'll have been 3 straight and 4 of the last 5 on the road going into that game Saturday against Pepperdine. So after a week where it's been, repeat opponents, you're seeing for the second time, Pepperdine will be another team. It'll be the first chance going up against them. Just any early thoughts? I know that's not the next game, but any early thoughts on this Pepperdine team that'll be coming to town Saturday?
They do a really good job moving the ball. I've watched a lot of their games just when I'm scouting the other WCC teams. We haven't really dove into them necessarily as far as just game planning, but they move the ball well. They're playing their tails off, and they got some really, really dynamic shooters that we're going to have our work cut out for us.
That game is Saturday, tip-off at 3 o'clock Pacific time coming up at Beasley Coliseum. Pepperdine, the opponent, and that'll be one of 2 matchups. Cougs will then head down for the last regular season game to Malibu. That will be on March 1st. We'll take another break here from Zeppos. More with the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley, after this. This is the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.
You know what I could really go for right now? Literally anything that comes in a McDonald's carton, wrapper, or bag. Or a McDonald's cup. Yes, any of those items should do it.
Or Cougar fans, why not get them all? Order with the app and get a bacon double cheeseburger, 4-piece chicken McNuggets, small fries, and soft drink for only $7. Offer valid exclusively in the McDonald's app. Must opt into rewards at participating restaurants.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
This is the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you. Because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the Svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
Hey, Coug fans! Can't decide what to do with your late night weekends? Why not Cosmic Bowling? Every Friday and Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. is Cosmic Bowling at Zeppo's. At a price designed with everyone in mind, we are your destination for music, disco lights, and of course, bowling. Can't join us on the weekends? Zeppo's is the place to be for all ages every day of the week. With bowling, food, and drink specials, we offer prices that won't break the budget. You can even reserve your lane in advance with online reservations at Zeppos.com. When looking for fun in Pullman, look no further than Zeppo's.
Welcome back to the show. Time now to look ahead at this week's game with the Coors Light Opponent Preview. Coors Light. Choose chill. Proud partner of Cougar Athletics. Celebrate responsibly.
Back at Zeppo's on the Cougar Basketball Hour. Back here with the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley. And, Coach, I got to know, we had Cedric Coward on, and we heard about what a great baker he is. And someone, who knows who it was, from the back of the room shouted out their favorite cookie that he made. I might be sitting next to that person. So just how good of a baker is Cedric Coward? How good are these cookies?
I think it was last year, maybe it was 2 years ago. He came by the offices and had a special delivery for us with the coaches, and he's impressive. And like we just got our house up here about, I don't know, probably 5-minute walk. In July, and we didn't have any furniture or anything, and I wanted to kind of have the team over, and so I was trying to figure out what to do, and I was talking to Cedric, and Cedric was, I'll cook for the team. And so my wife was working, and she came home at like 6 and helped him in the last part, but he was in there from like 4 to 6 cooking tacos for everybody, ground beef, had the chicken going. He's a machine. I mean, and I've seen him cook wings for the team. Last year he had the team over for a film session. I mean, their whole house smelled like smoke because I think they didn't have good ventilation in there, and they cooked a bunch of wings and everything for everybody. But it was, I mean, he's got quite the repertoire.
That is impressive. What about these custom sneakers he was telling us about? Have you got to seen some of his finished products?
Last year, I can't remember what the event was for, but we had to wear some special shoes for a game, and so Cedric customized some shoes. Unfortunately, they were Adidas last year, so I don't get to bring them with me to Washington State. But I got to ask him for another pair. Maybe I'll wear them for some games.
Oh yeah, I can imagine what he could do with crimson and gray and those great sneakers that you wear. Did you request anything on those Adidas sneakers, or the ones that you had at Eastern, or did he just say, "Hey Cedric, do your handiwork"?
It was for like I can't remember what it was for. I don't know if he's back there right now. It was for some sort of an event. So he was given an assignment. I was wearing the shoes. And honestly, that's how it kind of works. I know I don't have the best sense of style, so our assistants just kind of tell me what to wear, or my wife, and I just kind of go with that.
Hey, rely on others' expertise when you need to. Coach, we appreciate it. Excited for this week, and especially for that home game Saturday.
Should be fun. Go Cougs.
Again, that is David Riley. Not only a big thank you to Coach Riley, but to all of our guests tonight, Blake Fernandez and Cedric Coward. A huge thanks back in the U.S. Bank Network studios to Luke Hallett on the video side here at Zeppo's, Jared Pringruber on the audio side, and Jerry Kylo. I'm Chris King signing off. Go Cougs. You've been listening to the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.